Coucou tout le monde, j'espère que vous allez bien. My name is Layla and welcome back to my channel.
To be honest, it's been so long, so I'm not sure if I should say a welcome back, or even a happy new year. Happy New Year, guys, and I hope you had an amazing first quarter of 2026. I took a long break because the last quarter of 2025 almost took me out. And I had to do one of the things that I hate the most, which was moving in New York City. As an immigrant, finding housing has been one of the most challenging things I had to do here. So I was kind of scared to go through this journey. The process of looking for an apartment in New York can be different from person to person. One, based on what you're looking for, two, based on the area that you're looking for, and also the last thing, which is the most important thing, it is based on what time you're looking for an apartment. I was personally looking for an apartment around the fall and winter time, which is usually the best time to find an apartment in New York because of the prices and also because of the availability in the market. So I started looking for apartments around 2 months before my lease ended, because I wanted to see what was available on the market and also see what I can get for a certain price range. The main thing that I wanted in an apartment is to have great natural lighting. The apartment that I was previously living in didn't have no lighting whatsoever, and I was kind of feeling like it was affecting not only my mood but also my mental state, because I was feeling sad every day. And to be honest, as someone who worked from home, I really didn't want to go through the same thing again. So I really wanted to find a place that offers a lot of natural lighting. The next thing was for space, because although the place I was living at didn't have lighting, but it did offer a lot of space and storage spaces as well. So I was really looking forward to have a place that had enough space for me to, one, set up my living room and also be able to set up my little office corner. And lastly, my budget was around $2,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment. And if I were to move again with my sisters, we were looking for an apartment around the $3,500 price range that offers 3 bedrooms. But besides that, I was mainly going on vibes and was praying for God to actually give me what I wanted, because I feel like He knows better than me. So I was kind of going through visiting those apartments and seeing if they feel like home, if I would feel comfortable living there for a year or more. Now, getting into the first apartment that I visited. Most of the apartments were around the Bushwick or East Williamsburg area. And throughout some point of my apartment hunting, I also started looking for apartments in Queens. So the first few apartments that I visited were located in the Bushwick area. So that first apartment was listed for $3,200, and they had a couple of apartments available in that building. So I wanted to visit and see what they offered.
I know that this apartment was above my budget, but I just wanted to visit it to see what it looks like. I really like the bathroom and the vanity mirror that they had. I feel like it would be great to get ready in this bathroom. This apartment also offered laundry in unit, but I was not really a big fan of the living room layout because I was not sure where I was going to put my TV and also my desk. But in terms of the sizing of the bedroom, it was really spacious, and both bedroom and living room had floor to ceiling window. The closet was just okay. It didn't really give anything. The other con about this apartment was that you had to pay a monthly fee to access the amenities.
The second apartment was listed for $2,600. Even if it was $100 more than the max that I set for myself, I came to realize that there were no apartments that were available for $2,500 or less, which is kind of crazy to say. And I feel like New York is just getting out of hand with the prices of the apartments. But I digress. I visited that apartment because it was not too far from where I was living previously. But as soon as I got to the neighborhood, I already didn't like it because it was located under the little bridge on Flushing where the train passed, and I personally wouldn't feel comfortable walking around there at night by myself. And the other thing is that the building was really dark, so I was kind of scared of what the unit was going to look like. And I also visited that apartment when it was gloomy, so I'm not sure if all those factors kind of play into me not liking and not applying for that apartment at all.
As you can tell, this apartment didn't receive as much natural lighting, and the dark brown cabinet made it look even darker. Another thing I didn't like about this apartment was the separation between the bathroom floor and the living room floor, which I thought was really odd. And the bathroom didn't have a tub or a glass, but the bedroom itself was pretty spacious.
The next apartment was located on Bushwick Ave, and that apartment was listed for $2,900, but they were offering 1 month free, and it was going to have a net effective of $2,658. That apartment had 2 units available, one on the second floor and the other one was located on the 4th floor. The structure for both apartments were kind of similar. The only difference is that the apartment on the second floor had one extra closet that was in the living room, and it was pretty big.
One thing about this apartment was that it didn't have an elevator and the stairs were really narrowed, which will make it pretty hard to move furniture into the apartment, but the living room was really spacious. I also liked the bathroom. I feel like it was really giving modern vibe, but for some reason, I do also feel like it was giving men bathroom. This apartment also had laundry in unit, but the bedroom itself was really on the smaller side, and I really didn't like the closet space. I also visited the apartment on the second floor, and it had a nice closet in the living room, and the view was even better. The only thing about this unit was that you can hear all the noise from outside when you're in the living room.
Now, I was really excited to visit that next apartment because from the pictures and from the videos, you can clearly see that this unit was receiving a lot of natural lighting, and it was listed for $2,885 with 1 month free. So the net effective was going to be $2,645. I will say that the only thing that I didn't like about the apartment was how dark it was on the floor when you're walking to your unit, and also where the laundry was located was super dark as well. So I really didn't like that, but besides that, that apartment was beautiful.
As soon as you enter the apartment, you can see how much natural light it's receiving, and the kitchen is just beautiful. It also has a balcony that opens into the kitchen. I didn't really care much about the bathroom, but it had extra closet outside of the bedroom, which was pretty good for storage. I really liked the structure of the bedroom itself because I feel like it was so different, and the closet was decent size. Only thing I didn't like was the layout of the living room because it would be kind of hard to organize.
The next apartment was located in East Williamsburg. It was listed for $2,745. They mentioned on the listing that there was one or 2 months free, but when I got there, it seems like the $2,745 was actually the net effective price, which was weird because all other listing will tell you what the base price is and the net effective.
Guys, I feel like I was scammed by this apartment. Although the backyard did exist and it was huge, just like the pictures, the apartment itself was so small. Look at the bathroom, small. Another person was complaining about the fact that he was not going to fit in that bathroom, and I'm like, yeah, I feel you. I'm on the short side, but I still feel like it's really small. The bedroom itself was also on the smaller side, but it had 2 closets, which I think was the only thing besides the backyard that was a good thing. But guys, this was a really small apartment. So this building had 1 apartment on each floor, which I really love, and the 2 top floors had 2 bedrooms, and each bedroom was around the same size, and the closet were pretty decent. I also love the size of this living room. As I was visiting this apartment, I was like, maybe I should apply, but it was so over my budget. It was listed for $3,400, but guys, look at this bathroom. Beautiful, and it also had an open window in the ceiling, and I love the light oak finishes. This apartment also had laundry in unit, and look at the fridge. Like, this is so beautiful. And as I was saying before, the bedrooms are around the same size. This unit was listed for 3450, I believe. It was slightly higher than the other one, and the agent was saying that it was higher because it was a little bigger, but I didn't feel like it was bigger, or maybe it was because of the structure that it felt a lot smaller than the other one, but it had the same features and the same finishes. It was a really, really beautiful apartment. And again, that day it was super gloomy, and I feel like the other apartment was receiving more lighting than that one, but the size of the bedrooms were around the same.
This next apartment was located not too far from the Bushwick area. It was listed for $2,500, and that was the first apartment that I visited that was a true $2,500 apartment. Because of the amount of people that were there and the fact that the tenant was still living there, I didn't get enough content or clips of the apartment itself.
This apartment was on the smaller side, and I was not really sure how I was going to set up the living room, but I really liked the fact that the kitchen was separated from the living room. It also had a rooftop, and they tried to advertise it as an amenity, but it was just like a basic rooftop.
Now for this apartment, I submitted my application and they never got back to me. They didn't even tell me if I got rejected on anything, but I paid and submitted my application and they didn't get me a response. So I was kind of getting discouraged because I was not finding anything that was within my budget or that offered all the things that I was looking for, even if the list was not too long. But I still was not finding an apartment that was offering all those things. And I did reach out to visit the last apartment, but they only got back to me after I signed my lease for another building. And that apartment was actually located in Astoria. The apartment itself was really nice, and it was not too far from the city, and it was only walking distance from the train station.
You can clearly tell that this apartment was really big. The bathroom itself was pretty basic, but the size of the living room was just amazing. And I really liked the fact that the kitchen was separated from the living room. And I came to realize that I really like this idea of having the kitchen separated from the living room, or even having a window in the kitchen so that when you're cooking, the smell of the food doesn't stay in your apartment. The bedroom was a decent size as well. The closet was around the same size as all the other closets. I really like this apartment. I think the only thing that didn't play out well for me was the timing, because by the time they reached out, I already signed my lease.
Now, as you can tell, I didn't go with none of those options, and I ended up moving in an apartment that offered a lot of the things that I was looking for. That apartment had laundry and building, and you didn't have to pay for it, which was great, because if laundry was in unit, I was going to have to pay more for electricity, which I was not looking forward to. And the apartment was receiving a lot of great lighting. But after I moved there were a couple of things that I realized I didn't like about this apartment, but that's going to be for another video. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.